Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. You gotta double click it to win it. There we go. Now we're charging up. Now we're powering up our devices. Welcome to U.F.Oh Snap. My name is Jake.
I'm Lindsay.
Welcome to episode 5. Wow, you've really been holding on. You know, you've been coming back week after week, and
I think that, at least from my perspective, that I've got the baseline history of the UFO phenomenon and where it came from, where it's been, where it's going, where we are today.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no expert, but
You think you got a pretty good grip on it?
I've got an understanding to where I'm excited to delve further.
Oh,
Because I know there's so many more layers and things to talk about, but I feel like I have the basic knowledge I need to go forward.
well, it's time to go back. It's time to go back. We're going to go all the way back to 1994 when a couple named Terry and Gwen Sherman buys a little piece of property on Utah. Yeah. Southeast of Ballard, Utah. Sherman Ranch. It's approximately 512 acres. Also known as a little place called Skinwalker Ranch. My timing.
I was waiting for it. I was like,
My timing is incredible. It's great.
I'm really excited to talk about Skinwalker Ranch because I don't know anything about. I mean, I've heard of it. I've maybe seen, like, I know there's been some documentaries made, some science fiction films made about it. I have not seen any of them.
It's I mean, people say it's like
I just know of them.
It's like the most paranormal focused activity place on Earth. Like, more shit happens on this ranch than anywhere else. I mean, they got it all.
But I do have to say that since I have no concept of what Skinwalker Ranch is, that every time I hear it, I think like it's a weird, warped version of Skywalker Ranch. And George Lucas is like some lizard person transforming in the night at Skinwalker Ranch.
Hi, welcome to Skinwalker Ranch. I'm George Lucas. I'm a lizard person.
He just tears his face off and underneath.
Just like, oh, what do you mean you didn't like Jar Jar? Oh, no.
And then he just eats
he just eats your face.
Lizards. Yeah.
Oh, just ate your face. Oh, okay. George Lucas.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that sounds like, it sounds more like Dr. Evil.
Oh, mini-me, you complete me. I'm the boss.
I have heard worse George Lucas impressions.
I'm George Lucas. We're going to shoot this movie all on Sony digital video cameras, and it's going to be great.
Said no one ever. Anyways, Skinwalker fucking Ranch. This place has such a history. And
George Lucas got him.
George Lucas. George Lucas got him.
Okay, Skinwalker Ranch. Crazy shit happened there. Like, so many things happen there to these guys. I mean, we're talking, they have the fucking Taster's Choice menu of things. It's like the charcuterie board of fucking paranormal places.
Okay.
Right?
There's something for everybody.
Something for everybody. Just a quarter, not a dollar. Family fun for everyone.
Yes.
How did I pull? Anyways.
That was impressive.
Anyways.
Because it just fell right off your tongue.
I mean, you name it. Ghosts? Check. Shadow people?
Check.
Check.
Check. Awesome.
UFOs? Check. Dino beavers?
What?
Dino beavers? Dino beavers. I'm not making this up. These are claims. Some sort of dino beaver thing.
Like a giant beaver?
Yeah, like a crypto beaver.
Wow.
Giant beaver.
Giant beaver.
Giant beaver. Oh.
Dino beaver.
Oh, Dino Beaver. That was the name of my prom date. I'm Dino Beaver. Oh, dance with me, Jake. No, Dino Beaver. No. My voice was a lot higher back then, apparently. Anyways, Dino Beavers, lizard peoples. They got lizard peoples. The big one, cattle mutilation.
I was hoping we would touch on cattle mutilations. I want to touch on cattle mutilations.
All this crazy shit was happening to these people, right? I told you before that names keep reappearing throughout this, right? Like, you gotta remember
some familiar players.
Always familiar players, okay? In this case,
the usual suspects.
Yes, absolutely. In this case, the one that sort of always seems to pop up one way or another is Mr. George Knapp. A player that, frankly, for me, I like when he pops up because I know he's a legitimate journalist and he always, like, chases down.
Now I'm picturing this. I don't know what this George Knapp looks like. Don't show me yet, because in my mind, he's Benicio del Toro. So I just like, you know, like in the movie, I think Benicio del Toro would play. I don't know. I just got that vibe when I think of George Knapp.
But you do know what George Knapp looks like because you've seen him before.
I have.
You have. I know for certain because I made you watch.
I don't. It doesn't. I can't picture him in my head.
Yeah. Because he's all over that Bob Lazar documentary that I had you watch.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've seen.
I can't picture him in my head, but I just.
So George Knapp pops up. You know. So George Knapp pops up. And he says, hey, I'm going to look into this as well, right? And so he goes and he starts talking to people about this. And you know, he talks to the owners of the ranch and everything. And they tell him his story. You know, they talk about crazy things that have happened. Like the owner was out digging post holes, right? He had his post hole digger and he turned around and then turned back and the post hole digger was gone. Now, this is the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's only one road. It's very important. There's only one road in or out of this whole fucking place.
Yeah.
So he's by himself, you know, and it's gone. It's gone. There's nowhere.
And that's an awful thing to happen, to lose your postal digger.
That's the worst. 3 weeks later, he finds it in the top of a tree. There's no
shenanigans.
No clue. There's a big trickster element to the entity that's out there. They talked about. They have this where they have these bowls, right? They're next to it. There's this like trailer. Okay. Well, one day they're there and they see their bowls or whatnot, and they go up over the hill, the pasture, because this is a big kind of area there. And about a half hour later, they come back and the bowls are gone. They're gone.
Where's the bowls?
Where's the bowls? Well, they keep looking and they hear something, and they look inside this little trailer. We're talking like a, you know, not a very big trailer. And I don't mean like a trailer that you put like bulls in. I'm talking like a house trailer.
Oh.
We're talking like a foreman at a construction site trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like for a person trailer, not an animal trailer.
No.
This is like an office on wheels kind of thing. Well, they go and they look in the window because there's glass windows and shit, and there are the two bulls just standing there staring, not moving, just solid.
Just in there.
just frozen. And then they make a noise, because they kind of check it out. They
Yeah, they're
and-
like,
and-
what
and-
the fuck, bull?
and the bulls snap out of it and fucking panic
Yeah.
and tear the shit out of rips the door off the hinge trying to get out of there.
Bull in a china shop. Literally.
Literally. Two of them.
2 bulls.
I mean, within 30 minutes, something got these things inside of here without making any ruckus whatsoever.
Nothing out of place.
And somehow hypnotized them and got them not to muck and move.
They did that, that thing in the Crocodile Dundee does, where he hypnotizes. He puts his hand out like this.
Oh, yeah. There's a...
Yeah.
Nino.
Yeah, and he makes the bull fall asleep.
Fall asleep, oh. Ugh. So, have you ever seen these caramel apple chips?
No.
They're like apple chips,
Oh shit.
but they're like caramel apple, and they're really, really good.
I do love I do love a carameled apple.
Oh, you will like that.
Shit.
Just bite it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Oh no, those are the shit.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Ugh. Yeah. All right. So, another thing that would happen is they would see, these shadow people, and out in the distance or whatnot. And then as the nights go on, they get closer and closer. And next thing you know, they're seeing these people at the end of their beds. Shadow people. Shadow people at the end of the beds. One night, they saw out the door a ginormous dire wolf.
Dire wolf?
Huge dire wolf.
Fucking John Stark dire wolf.
Dire wolf. Huge. And they shot it. They shot the fucking shit out of it. Didn't do anything. Chased them. Fucking scratched the shit out of their stuff. Tore some shit up. All kinds of craziness. Hundreds of incidences happened. Hundreds. It's insane. Just like that apple crisp thing. It's insane.
Really good.
All right. So George Knapp does all this investigation and all this stuff, right? And he writes a book called The Hunt for Skinwalkers, right? And then he talks about everything that he studied or whatnot. Well, to understand Skinwalker, you have to understand these owners now wanted the fuck out. Like, they don't want to own this thing anymore.
Right.
And to understand what happens next is you have to understand another billionaire. We all gotta we gotta know another billionaire, right?
I don't want to know another billionaire.
You gotta. This one's eccentric though, but I guess aren't they all?
Yeah, in their own interesting ways.
Have you ever heard of Robert Bigelow?
I have not.
Robert Bigelow is a billionaire. He got his start in the real estate trade in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. At one point owned more casino than MGM.
Damn.
Yeah, big time. Also has a super interest in space, right? Knew that he was never smart enough to be like a space person, but was really interested in space. So that's why he made all of his money in real estate, something he did know in, so he could get into space.
Nice.
Started a company called BASS, Bigelow Aeronautics, Space Science, something or other. And they make a lot of different things. They're working on like an inflatable laboratory that can go into space and inflate. And
cool.
A lot of neat stuff, right? Well, Robert Bigelow also is just super duper into UFOs and aliens and paranormal and all this, right?
Yeah.
He has probably spent more money in the field of paranormal research than any other human alive. millions and millions, created a thing called NIDS. NIDS is the National Institute of Discovery Science. And formed, like, got some of the smartest people that he could fucking buy and started to look into researching all these different paranormal things, right? Like all this crazy shit throughout anything he can get his hands on.
Yeah.
Well, the opportunity came up that the most paranormal rich single location entity just happened to be for sale. And Robert Bigelow just happened to be a billionaire.
So he bought Skinwalker Ranch.
So he fucking bought it. He bought it, and they outfitted it with cameras and
Lock, stock, and dire wolves.
and all kinds of crazy shit, and scientists and people, and sent it in, and they researched the place. He owned it. He owned it for like 10 years. But there's all kinds of crazy reports that came out of there. There was one that stands out to me that one of his team, in his team, mind you, what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about like trained military kind of people.
Yeah.
Like they're not U.F.O people, they're not alien people. I mean, these are just like no fucking around people, right? And so they're like security. And so they're out and it's night, and you have three guys. Two of them have night vision goggles on, one of them does not. Now, the guy without the night vision goggles on doesn't see anything. But the other two say that they saw like a portal appear.
A portal?
A portal.
Legit.
A legit portal, and some sort of alien creature crawl out, like a lizard person, and like kind of hiss at him, and then run away up the mountain. Both
Like not back into the portal.
Nope.
It went up the mountain.
Yep, portal closed.
What the fuck?
This is what they said, and these are reports coming from not conspiracy people, that not are into this stuff. People,
Yeah.
These are legitimate, like serious, no bullshit kind of people. It's probably one of my favorites to come out of that stuff.
That's crazy.
But so Robert Bigelow owned this thing for 10 years, compiled all this shit, put it all together, looked at I'm losing my train of thought. Hold on, we're gonna have
The
to pause.
portal.
We're gonna have to pause. So we have our portal. Let me think. How am I gonna do this? And of course, like I said before, another incident, of course, is cattle mutilation.
Yes, cattle mutilations.
So this one's really weird. The ranchers who owned it.
Because cattle mutilations, they were in pop culture, I mean, they were part of an episode of South Park. You would see them on the cover of tabloids back in the 80s and early 90s, like cattle mutilations. They've got pictures, in the National Enquirer, shit like that. So, I mean, that's the kind of way it was thought about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and they got pictures and they got video of this, and they have bodies, and what they would find is they would be there, they'd be fine, whatever. In a matter of an hour, less than an hour later, they'd come back and they'd find these carcasses. The flesh is stripped out. They can see that they had the carcasses analyzed, and there was it was cut with a very, very precise, sharp blade, like very scalpel-esque. There's no blood, nowhere. There's no spilled,
anywhere.
no drops, nothing. Blood free, like a goddamn vampire. Fucking. There's no blood. So what people are thinking is obviously that something would have had to have taken the cows to somewhere else.
Did what they did.
And then put them back.
It was not the scene of the crime.
Right. But who? and where and
And
how?
why?
And why?
Do we want to know why?
Like, but how did they? They're in the middle of a field. You have people right over the ridge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't fly in. You didn't drive in because there's only one road and that's gated shut.
Yeah.
How did you do this? And this is something that happened often.
Yeah.
It's happened more. I think they said like 13 different bodies.
Jesus.
This happened to something like that. How? So it's just one of the many, many hundreds of examples. I mean, even down to like compasses don't work quite right out there. Like they get a lot of magnetic interference.
Well, and like the thing with the like what you were just talking about. What your point? We were talking about this just before that. I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
The portal?
No, not the portal. After that,
The cow mutilation?
the cow mutilations. Yes, cow mutilations. It's like, why are they doing that?
Right.
What's the purpose behind mutilating a cow? Taking it somewhere else, doing something to it. It's like they're not eating them.
Right.
At
least we don't know. I mean,
maybe they are. They got a taste for earth beef, whatever.
Earth beef.
Earth beef.
And maybe it's not even aliens,
And it may not even be aliens. It may be people from, whatever it is, but or it's running some kind of testing on it.
Yup.
Would be the other thing. And it's like, what are they testing for? Because are they continually testing, just looking for something to show up in those tests?
Right. There's so many questions, and then I think every time you get one answer, it makes you ask 10 more questions.
Yes.
Like who knows? Who knows what all this is for?
Exactly.
And the other thing you have to, the other thing you really have to ask yourself is any of this true?
Yeah.
I mean, is it true at all? Which is really interesting. That's the thing with Skinwalker is like, okay, so you have the Shermans, right?
Uh-huh.
And they owned Skinwalker from 1994 to 1996. And then Robert Bigelow bought it in 1996, and he owned it until 2016.
Okay.
Well, before Terry and Gwen Sherman, before they owned it,
Terry and Gwen.
a nice couple named Kenneth and Edith Myers owned it from 1934.
Oh, they sound just sweet.
From 1934 to 1994.
Kenneth and Edith.
I
love them.
Do you want to know what crazy shit they saw?
I bet they saw some insane
From
shit.
1934 to 1994?
I bet they saw a lot of shit.
They saw nothing.
No?
Not a fucking thing.
That surprises me.
Nothing.
I was hoping that they had like some crazy fucking stories,
Yeah.
but nothing. And they're like, you fucking crazy
Nothing.
people. I didn't see shit.
Although there are stories, I mean, but people that live around the ranch have had stories too. Like there was a story about a kid who like lives next to, like right off of where the ranch is.
Yeah.
And like said that he saw beams of light shine down, and then he got cancer.
Oh my God.
And it's unexplained. Like it's crazy. If you really want a deep dive, really good deep dive into Skinwalker Ranch, ironically, another one of the usual suspects, Jeremy Corbell,
Made a documentary.
He actually made this before the Bob Lazar one, called Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch, or Hunt for the Skinwalkers. Yeah.
Okay.
Hunt for Skinwalkers. It's very good, and it goes really into the lore, and a lot of the different encounters. And actually, he shows footage of the cows and shit.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to see some gross looking cows all cut up to shit, that's a good one to check out.
Did we cover why they call it Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah. So they say that it's the name's taken from the Skinwalker, which is a Navajo legend.
Okay, and that's what I
vengeful shamans.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and apparently it's
but I wasn't sure because
Skinwalkers, what is it like? You have to kill a member of your family, and then like you can like transform into animals and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Interesting.
you're a disgraceful shaman
Okay.
person. So, and since they're out there where all that is, it sort of has that precedent that it's paranormal badness.
I see.
So
Spooky vibes all around.
spooky vibes. Spooky vibes. Here's what I find really interesting, though. Okay, going back to, so the people that owned it before the Shermans said nothing's going on. Nothing happened. Shermans, tons of shit. Robert Bigelow owns it, has NIDS come in, investigate. They have reports.
Okay.
Okay, they have a bunch of reports, a ton of incidences. Okay. Well, then Robert Bigelow sells the thing to an unknown person at the time, right? Turned out to be another real estate guy. All right. Another guy named, what's this douchebag's name? Brandon Fugel.
Brandon Fugel.
Yeah, Brandon Fugel. This fucking Brandon Fugel. All right. This fucking Brandon Fugel guy. He is another one of those, to me, like Kevin Day, the gentleman from the Nimitz who just happens to be popping up in all these movies. Mm-hmm. You know, because he bought the place, and now if you ever watch on Netflix, there's a series called like Skinwalker Ranch something or other. It's
I think I've seen it.
It's like
thumbing through.
It's like a documentary series.
Like a docudrama.
Really has like a paranormal investigations vibe to it.
Gotcha.
You know, just complete utter bullshit.
Yeah.
And so this Brandon Fugel or whatever, he's a really interesting guy, owns a lot of cool shit. I think he just really wants to be like, you know, just like be cool for having something, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I wasn't cool, but I got a bunch of money, so I'm gonna buy cool, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he brought together a team, and because they always do, right? And sends the team with the most advanced fucking camera systems and everything.
Yes. Top of the line.
Top of the line.
Spared no expense.
Oh, spared no expense.
Spared no expense.
And if you watch that show, it's just like, oh, come on, dude. Like, this is fucking stupid. Like you don't necessarily expect us to think that you're taking this serious, right?
Right.
Well, the really funny thing happened is, I want to say it's from the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, one of these things. One of these guys started like looking into this and started like calling out how fucking dumb his claims are from his show.
Oh, really?
And goes to the Skinwalker Ranch and like meets with the team and is like, show me your most compelling evidence. And they show him a video clip that they're like, that could be an orb. That could be an orb right there. And he blatantly figures out it's like, it's like a bug.
Yeah.
Like a spider.
Yeah, I don't do the orb videos because
No.
I'm like, it's either a bug or it's just dust. It's dust.
Yeah. And so it is really, really funny. But I'm like, you don't really believe this shit, do you, man? Like what?
Yeah.
Like what you're saying, like the George Knapp stuff came across. I mean, he had, you know, he had fucking bodies of dead cows. Like, you know, it's like, holy shit, you know, him and Jeremy Corbell. And then, but then you get this guy, and it's like you're not. You
got to go where the evidence leads, not where you want to take it.
I mean, I'll give you another example.
I don't know.
Here's another example of the bullshit they're trying to sell, right? So there's a section of the Skinwalker Ranch where they go and they bring in a rabbi. Not just any rabbi, the fucking rabbi from Ancient Aliens. The ancient alien rabbi, and they have him bless an area, right?
Okay.
And they're sitting there, and you would have thought that they just found Jesus.
Oh, really?
Because the ground went up 1 degree. They're like, oh, we have a 1 degree increase. Oh, right after he did.
Isn't that just like
life? Yeah.
Yeah.
It just happened. Yes. Like.
But you. it's not a statistical anomaly for it to change. It needs to change more than a degree for it to, there's randomness to things like that.
It's just a lot of
like,
it's a lot of stupid. It's a lot of stupid. But so this guy came in, this huge skeptic who's really calling out a lot of inconsistencies from I'll put a link in the show notes to the guy's page. It's really great. But what it really got me is he went and he sat down and he interviewed this owner, and he went out and he met the team and he saw all this stuff, and then he just bashed them. It was like they must have thought he was there like, oh man, he's gonna be promoting our show and it's gonna be great. And this dude fucking flipped the lid and was just like, you are a bunch of liars and stupid liars. And then so what does this Brendan Frugal do? He gets into a fucking like pissing match with him on Twitter.
No, don't ever don't fight with people on the internet.
Oh, it's funny.
It's such a waste of time.
He's like trying to defend himself and defend his Skinwalker Ranch and shit. I really was into Skinwalker Ranch until this guy. Like I was in there with the George Knapp and with Robert Bigelow and all this stuff, but this Brendan Frugal really just fucking pissed me off. He was a fun sucker. He took all the fucking fun out of it.
Took the fun out of it. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, like if he just didn't exist, then this episode would have been on such a more fun ending. But he does exist, and he fucking ruined it. I mean, seriously, like go watch. If you really want to fucking dedicate a little bit of time in this and see what I'm talking about, go watch, and it's on YouTube. You can watch Jeremy Corbell's Hunt for Skinwalker. I think it's a Hunt for Skinwalker Ranch or Hunt for Skinwalkers. And then go watch just one episode of that Skinwalker Ranch bullshit show on Netflix.
And just compare and contrast.
Even just do 20 of each. 20 minutes on one, 20 minutes on the other.
Yeah.
And see what I'm talking about. 'Cause it's like fucking awful. You know what I mean? It's like... It'd be like it's like the History Channel doing a documentary on like Lincoln getting shot versus the History Channel doing an episode of ghost hunters trying to find Lincoln's ghost.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like one's like serious and credible, and the other is stupid. And like I get it, he's a fucking billionaire and he's on Twitter.
It's just sensationalizes it.
It's fucking dumb. Do you know my favorite thing though about this guy I wish I fucking knew his name, but I don't want to type it. So they call him out again. Links in the show notes, I promise. All the links in the show notes to this guy. This journalist.
Well, you said Skinwalker. Sorry to interrupt again, but you said
go.
Skinwalker Ranch had like. It's just like it's the mixed nuts can of Planters.
Yeah,
you get everything in there. Were there any abductions there?
No.
Okay, that was my question.
No abductions. I mean, the other thing, like some of the one-offs things that it looked like there was beams of light being beamed down on certain areas. There's actually points where things from the ground beamed up. Right?
Oh wow!
But the other side of that is too, like George Knapp went out there and and poked around or whatever, and then they went right into the middle of the place and put a fucking chair there and stuck George there and left him by himself.
By George.
By George. By George. But he was fine. Nothing happened. Said nothing happened. Nothing happened. Didn't see a thing.
Just out there. Had a nice night.
Had a nice time, And this guy from whatever paper, I think it's a Washington, I don't know, news bullshit thing. He went out there, spent the night by himself there. Nothing really happened there either. Yeah, I don't know. It seems just kind of bullshitty.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to talk about because it's just interesting. Like, because if someone isn't completely making up a story, they saw something. They just weren't able to explain what that thing is.
Right.
And so your mind can speculate when you weren't there to see it yourself.
That's true.
It's just...
That's true. But... So we have this. Okay, so let's back up for a second. So we have this place.
Yes.
And this place has a lot of history of crazy shit. And it's been investigated by a billionaire or two now at this point. But go back. Go back a little bit. A billionaire, you know. But like I said, it's you get somebody like George Knapp that goes out there who is a credible journalist, and he sits there all night and has no experience, nothing, not a thing, right? Well, what about the people that have experiences, right? What if somebody that was like really, really important had an experience? What if somebody thought,
not just any Joe Schmo.
No, somebody of a position of power, let's say. And let's say they were so worried about what's happening here that maybe something should be done about really taking a serious look at this and other type of weird paranormal things. And what if, this is a big one, what if the New York Times wrote an article about some black budget money that went to a bullshit program called ATIP that didn't actually go to a bullshit program called ATIP? It went to a whole other program.
A secret program.
Secret program. And what if that secret program wasn't just about UFOs, but fuck it. Let's look into ghosts too.
No way.
Yeah, we'll see you next week where we dive into what the fuck am I talking about? Because it's going to be a doozy. I promise.
We got ghosts.
We got ghosts. And for those of you, hold on. For those of you who are like, hey, you know, in that last fucking episode, Jake, you left us on a cliffhanger talking about what if that article in the New York Times was full of shit. I did.
It's Ghost Man.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out, won't we? Thanks for tuning in to U.F.Oh Snap. Be sure to follow us on all the socials. Check us out online, UFOsnap.com. You can pick up yourself a tasty t-shirt or other fun thing. It's great for the fans, friends, and holiday stuffings and all that bullshit. And until next time, I'm Jake.
I'm Lindsay.
Stay elevated, my friend. Goodbye.